Renaissance, it used to be at the Wyndham, but it was like a smaller Wyndham, and like last year it was really packed, like really packed. So I'm glad that they moved it because this has like more space.
Yeah.
It's bigger, it's huger. Because at the Wyndham it was like so packed that they had like long lines all the way like against walls and stuff, and then it's from like one panel room out to another panel room. It's pretty bad.
So all the space is like
Yeah, I heard there's like definitely like a different kind of vibe and feel this year. But
pretty much destroy most of the windows. The only thing left is like a convention center. They sold the rest of it off with strip malls. So
Gotcha.
I thought they were going to remodel. I saw it yesterday. I saw it all knocked down.
So it's gone, huh?
A few of them might remodel.
So AFO is going to always be at the Renaissance from now on? Or
I'm not
no?
sure.
Maybe
We'll
just
have to
trying
find
it
out.
I guess.
Yeah,
Flips well enough.
Yeah, we'll see if there's a new Wyndham, and maybe I'll have to catch the pool
I
party.
have to say, the pool's amazing. There's a little water park outside.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they don't cancel it next year, I hope.
they won't.
Yeah, it's been around 14 years. I'm sure they'll keep going.
Oh yeah.
Everyone with the
He will.
staff seemed really into it, really nice. And
AFO always has a really good, well-managed staff. I mean, like with MegaCon, I've noticed that it's always been like kind of rushed. Like I like the way that they gave us like 2 hours to like get up in the morning and get ready if you had stay here and get your ticket and kind of walk around the hotel, get like a feel for the hotel and stuff. So it's not like just dropping off your stuff and then having to straight down go to the con.
yeah, that's nice. I'm still relatively new to the whole convention scene. I could count how many conventions I've done on one hand. So
They just renovated this one.
yeah, it's cool. It's nice in here.
You'll have fun here. Eric takes care of everybody.
Yeah, definitely. What's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing? Good to see you.
All good.
We're just doing a little intimate.
Oh, that's
session,
awesome.
'cause,
Sweet.
you
That's
know,
awesome.
So if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to ask.
How was your first time like meeting with the fans? Like the first experience when you went to the convention, you had people like really getting into.
Yeah, so my very first convention, I wasn't like a featured guest. I was just going for a Durarara panel. I play Maso Mikita in a show called Durarara, and it was at Anime Expo. And Anime Expo is massive. So there's like 75,000 people at the Los Angeles Convention Center. And they told me like, come down to the convention, it'll be fun. You'll just jump on a panel and do some autographs and meet some folks that are watching the show. And I'm like, great. So I expected, I looked online and I expected like, a very like intimate, just like this kind of, just hanging out. And I go up and kind of check out the room, and it's bigger than this room. Okay, it's like about this size with the screens and everything, but it goes back like another set of seats. And they're like, yeah, this is the room we're gonna be in. I'm like, oh, awesome. And they're like, yeah, and the line's outside. So I go and like peek around, and you cannot see the end of the line. It's just massive. But I knew that the other people on the panel were really experienced. Crispin Freeman was there. Yuri Lowenthal was sitting next to me, and I'm good friends with Yuri. So I knew, I was in good company and I would be cool. Who else was there? Oh, Steve Bloom was there. So I was up there with these experienced folks and just fed off the energy of the crowd and loved it. Just had an awesome time and went right from there to autographs, and everyone was so excited and had all their Durarara swag. One girl had shoes, and she had Maso Mikita on her shoes. And I was like, yes, this is the coolest thing. So I love the energy and I love the vibe of the whole convention. And when I started getting some invites more recently for Blue Exorcist and for Cydia and some of the other things, the Tales game, some of the other things I've done, and now Sword Art, I was just stoked. I'm like, I get to go to these awesome conventions and hang out with people and have a good time. So that's what got me started.
Do you get it free? You're a voice actor?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I make money at conventions. This is, I'm in California, so they have to fly me out here. They have to put me up, make sure everything is covered, and it's work, but this is the best kind of work I can do. It's just hang out with you guys. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, come and chat about what I love to do and talk about, how fun it is to be a voice actor. I did a convention in Seattle called SoccerCon, and one of the guests is Vic Mignogna. I'm sure you guys know Vic. He does a lot of conventions, and I was hanging out with him and John Swayze, another voice actor from Texas. And I hadn't, voice actors don't really get much time to talk to each other. And here's why. When you're doing anime, you're the only person in the booth. So you come in, you deliver your lines, and you're done for the day. That's it. If you see another voice actor, it's like either they're leaving the booth and you see them as they're walking out, or you leave the booth and then they're about to come in and you say hey, and that's all the time you have. So at conventions, another real cool thing for actors is we get to hang out with each other. So I was hanging out with Vic and I was talking to him about what he thought of conventions, and I really liked what he said. He said, when you're a stage actor and you finish a scene and there's people in the audience, you get an applause. People show that they like it or they boo you. But you get an applause. When you're a voice actor and you leave the booth when you're done, even if you do insanely well, you have this big emotional scene that turns out great, no one's there to hear it. It's going to be a year before anyone even hears that stuff. So, sometimes it goes faster, but sometimes by the time it gets mixed and all the other actors deliver their lines and, they put the packaging together and it gets out there to people, it's a year later before they even hear what you did. And there's no applause, there's no, hey, great job in there. So at conventions, you meet people that have seen your work and they tell you about scenes that they liked and what you did that was cool, and this is your sort of applause. So I really like that, and I can see where he's going from with that. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I kind of grew up in the 90s, and your only way of possibly letting your, people that really, you just click with, you were a fan of a show or a series, and you couldn't really say anything to them unless you went over there and were in person with them, and Facebook and all that wasn't even invented to express anything, so the only way you could even suggest it was just through DVD still, not the VHS stuff. It was kind of really, it's a lot nicer that they've been able to do more conventions in recent years.
I've noticed that there's more and more conventions popping up, they're getting more popular, which is really cool. It just shows that people are into this and appreciate, artwork and the hard work that goes into it. So it's really cool.
Kind of like bottled up applause that's come from so far back sometimes with some people who've done things in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
All this stuff, you finally get to just be there with someone that's made a connection with you when you were a kid.
It's really awesome. It's really awesome.
You did voice work with Rowdy Stories and Asboland. So how does that differ from regular anime voice acting or anything else?
Well, with those characters, being leads in massive RPGs, there's tons and tons of lines. So Asbel was a little more recent. That was just a few years ago. I had 3,600 lines in Tales. So that spanned over an entire summer, 4 months. Anime, there's just not that many lines to do. Unless you're doing something like Naruto or Bleach where there's 300 plus episodes, 500 episodes. So Sword Art Online, the most recent anime I finished, 25 episodes. So that spanned over, 3-4 months also, but I wasn't in there 4 hours a day reading down a script that's just never ending. Our script was just this massive binder for Tales, and every day I would just go and, hit another arc, hit another arc, hit another arc. 4 hours of delivering lines. Whereas sword art, you go in, you watch the scene, you hear the Japanese, deliver the line, go back and watch it, think about it, deliver it again, go back, watch it again, deliver it again. It's just a different sort of experience. Yeah.
Watch any anime yourself outside of what you already do?
I do. I'm watching Attack on Titan. Good show. Seems like a lot of people are into that show. Yeah, that's a really cool one. And I'm about to watch Danganronpa. If you guys haven't heard of that, I just voiced the lead character in the video game, which comes out in 2014. So we'll see if they have me come back and voice him in the anime. I'm not sure if I will. It all depends on, the casting director. But yeah, currently watching Attack on Titan. But I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. That was kind of my show. I definitely watched some Naruto also. I haven't watched every single episode of Naruto, but definitely watched a lot of Naruto. And I enjoy both the sub and dub. It all depends on the particular show. Sometimes it's cool to watch it in Japanese, and sometimes it's cool not to read the subtitles and listen to some people that I know and hear their awesome work.
Because last night at the meet and greet, we were there, and Tony Oliver was talking that your dad was the voice of Rito in Power Rangers. So how was that growing up and your dad's doing voice work and you're he's like, oh, that's my dad. Like how was that? And then how did you decide to say, I'm going to do that too? Because that's awesome.
Yeah, you sort of missed it. My entry into voice. He would work all the time. I mean, he was definitely in that small percentile of working voice actors and working actors. It's really super competitive to get in that small percentile where all you can do is be an actor. He would go and work on stuff and come home just like normal, like, off to the office, and he would go and do stuff. And there's still stuff coming out that I see and I'm like, oh my God, that's my dad. Like, I had no idea he did that. Like, that's crazy. It's awesome. It's awesome to be able to. That's my dad. Yeah, to be able to have that. My dad passed away about 7 years ago, which it's a real bummer. He was such an awesome guy, but what he left, all his work is such a cool thing to have, and to be able to go back and see and hear him, to hear his voice. And the funny stuff like Rito Revolto, the skeleton dude on Power Rangers. I mean, everyone remembers that guy. Like, he's a cool character, a really cool character.
There's a question when you're in sword art. You mentioned about how you do your lines, come back, watch the scene, do your lines again. What scene was the hardest scene for you to perform?
There's a number of scenes in sword art that were really challenging. The first thing that comes to mind is the ridiculously crazy screams. I'll tell you a story about sword art. I went to another convention and I was fortunate enough to meet the Japanese director. Yes. At Anime Boston?
Yep.
Awesome.
I've never been.
So I had dinner with him and I was talking to him about the other voice actor, the Japanese equivalent to me, who played Kinto, and he was asking, how are the screams for you? And I said, they're gnarly. And he said, well, when the Japanese actor was doing these screams, he screamed so loud he had nosebleeds. So good luck, because I hadn't finished everything. So I definitely didn't get nosebleeds, but I could not talk after some of these screams. I mean, they are ridiculous. What we would do is go through dialogue for an entire session and save the last 15 minutes just for screaming. So, we did that a number of times. So we could really hit those screams, because when you see it, I mean, they're ridiculous. Yeah, we definitely went back and made sure those screams were perfect. You know, the kind of screams that just like give you chills when you hear them. So that's what we were going for. So that was a challenge. Some of the other parts, without spoiling anything for you guys, there were scenes where Kinto is just lying. Like, he's lying and he's putting on this front of, you know, I know what's going on, you better listen to exactly what I'm saying and trust in what I'm saying. And to make sure that I had that almost, I mean, it's real confidence. To make sure that confidence was coming through and sounding, you know, real strong without getting out of the Kirito character. That was sort of a challenge also. But if you guys see episode 4, which is on Toonami on this Saturday, you'll see one of those scenes where he shows real confidence. Like, this is when he comes out and he's like super badass. That was kind of one of those scenes where we had to go back and make sure he was badass enough, you know, up the badassdom a little bit more. By the way, speaking of Sword Art, I'm trying to find a place around here to watch Toonami. Do you guys know of like a bar or place like?
I think it's on the hotel TV.
How far is that from here?
It's the next exit is going towards Disney, so it's in the Crossroads Shopping Center.
Crossroads.
They're like a game bar.
And they play Toonami?
That I don't know.
Do you have like a hotel room here?
Well, I don't want to have like a ton of people in the hotel room.
Oh, you're
like,
talking about like a big time screening of it, or like?
I was thinking like, I mean, something like this size where like we could all hang out and watch some Toonami and watch Sword Art, because that'd be kind of cool.
I've never actually seen the anime.
Well,
Yeah, you could probably get like
know-
a TV rig.
I know Crunchyroll has the subtitled one, so it's not the dub.
Yeah, I'm trying to get, I mean, it's late. It's 2 a.m. that Sword Art is on Toonami. Maybe we can talk to the bar here and just have them switch all the TVs to Toonami or something.
Wow, Falcon's
So
watching.
actually requested to do a panel that was not scheduled, and they were like, okay, let's do a panel where we want it. And they're like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So we're able to find one and get Sword Art maybe we'll pull them off like that.
Yeah, because at a couple conventions now, I've had the experience of watching the show with some fans and people seeing it for the first time, and it's totally different than watching it by yourself. Like, you feed off the energy of everyone. Like, you hear the reactions, like you hear the laughs, you hear like the oh when like something like gnarly happens. Like, it's so much fun. So like, I have this opportunity to watch Sword Art on Toonami. It's on TV. I'm at a convention. Like, I'm trying to schedule it and put it together. So, hey, you know, I'm crossing my fingers. I thought Blue Exorcist was gonna make Toonami. I thought that was a perfect fit. Awesome. What do you guys think of it?
I love it. Brandon's my husband. I love him so much. I use the internet for all of my anime. I use different streaming websites and time codes.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do that, or just grab DVDs, or, you know, there's always a way to find the shows.
It's like I did a copy of the manga sign, but I only have the digital copy to the app. There's that.
Well, I'm happy to sign whatever you got. Actually, the Blue Exorcist, yes, love signing DSs. That's really cool. The Blue Exorcist movie is premiering in English this weekend. So I'm out here, so I don't get to go to the premiere of that. It's only in like 6 or 7 select cities, but playing in theaters. So I'm really hoping that it does well and Aniplex like takes it to more theaters. Like, that's another thing that I think there should be more of, you know, anime movies in movie theaters. Is
Yes.
watching it on the big screen with real, true, like, professional audio systems, you pick up all the little nuances that you don't necessarily hear, like if you're watching it on your computer or watching it, you know, at home.
I think like the Miyazaki films are the only ones that seem to get theater releases nowadays.
Well, no, like the Trigun one got it.
Trigun was...
Trigun got it. One of the Cowboy Bebop movies got it.
That'd be cool.
It's pretty much Regal Cinemas that actually does that.
Yeah.
That's the one with Regal
Yeah, the Full Alchemist was the other one.
Nice. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm hoping to schedule or put together like just informally a way to watch Sword Art episode 4.
Well, that's what a lot of people were hoping for with the Dragon Ball Z movie. That new one that's like coming eventually. A
Yeah.
month or 2 months or something.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully, these movies in theaters do well and they're, viable options for these companies to continue to do. Because I know it's something like I'd be into. So you guys, if you have any questions, it's we're just hanging out. It's very intimate.
If anyone else doesn't have another question at the moment, can I ask you something? Because I'm really undecided of what I want to do in life. Like, I'm not sure if I want to become like a script writer for anime or a storyboard writer for video games or manga artist or whatever. And I have like all my friends, everyone tells me that, like I shouldn't even go anywhere in that area, anywhere in that direction. Do you, like, someone that, works with these people to tell me how, like, is it impossible for someone that's not Japanese and someone that's...
It's not impossible, but it's very, very difficult. Anything in the entertainment business is really, really tough.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you hear starving artists, the phrase "starve." There's a reason why, because
It's hard if I was trying to become like an actress or something, in California, like right here in the States. Like, wouldn't it be the same?
yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a ton of challenges.
Right.
But like anything else, and if you have enough passion and enough drive, I mean, I totally believe in the American dream and in hard work and having that hard work pay off. So, I mean, I don't think it's impossible. I just think it's going to be extremely challenging because, I mean, I can tell you from an actor's point of view, I know for I don't do any script writing or any artistry or drawing or anything like that, but I assume it's similar in how hard it is to get into it and be successful. So from my point of view, if I book one job for every 100 auditions, I'm doing amazing in this industry. So that's 100 job interviews, one person says
99
yes,
no's.
and I'm ecstatic.
99 no's, yeah.
Yeah,
You have another job?
I do. I teach martial arts and Muay Thai. That was actually my first passion in life. Started martial arts when I was 5 years old, and grew up training hard and working with kids and competing. I thought for a while I was going to be a professional fighter, and I decided to go to UCLA instead. I saw more potential there. But it's still my passion, so I teach kids and I teach adults. I teach Muay Thai and boxing and martial arts. So that's one thing I do. Also, I'm a web designer, so I do coding and Photoshop and build websites. And that's actually a perfect job for a voice actor because I'll get a session and they'll tell me the day before, hey, come by at 3 p.m. We need you from 3 to 7. If I had a 9-to-5 job, I couldn't leave my job to go do a session from 3 to 7, especially with 1 day's notice. I mean, sometimes you have a few weeks in advance, and sometimes they're like, we gotta get this done. If you can do it, come down, and if not, they cast someone else. You lose it. So, being a web designer, I can code at my own pace and at my own time, and if I get a job, I go and record, and then I come home and do some more web design, and go to the gym at night. I stay real busy. So yeah, I got 3 jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's what you got to do, to